Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to Warsaw, Poland for live coverage of the Grand Finals 2015. Our quarterfinals now continue with our second match on the main stage. And boy, do we have a match for you. Our first team are the reigning champions of the world. Please welcome Navi! And they go head-to-head with an old foe, a team who have been around since the very beginning of World of Tanks and have dominated in the European WGL over the last few years. Please welcome Virtus.PRO! So before the game begins, let's get the words and wisdom from our expert panel. Josh, it's all yours.
Thank you, Paul. We are very excited to see these two teams that have quite the history from last year. Navi was able to take it, Virtus.PRO with a very, very tough loss, and now Virtus.PRO going through some rocky scenarios over their seasons from last year to this year, but still a top team coming out of Europe. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen between these two teams. And also, to welcome on the desk, Jonathan Picard from Elevate. It's great to have another American up here. Tough loss yesterday, though, brother. We were all cheering for you.
It was tough, thank you. Virtus.PRO played great games with those guys. We had a good run, end of the season. We're excited to come back next year.
Definitely, and we'll continue to watch your career progress in the WGLNA next season. Let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into our first team, Navi. Again, champions from last season. Let's go ahead and take a closer look.
Today has been a pretty good day for you guys. You've already gone ahead and booked yourself into the quarterfinals. How do you feel?
We feel very well, and we are going to quarterfinals, and I think we can do some 2 steps to grand final.
And if you had to pick one to avoid, who would you say you don't want to meet them?
We don't want to meet with Virtus.PRO, but I think tomorrow we will meet with them at quarterfinals. It will be a very hard game for us, but I think we have to win.
Now, of course, Virtus.PRO is here and does have a little bit of a home field advantage. Does that play into your reasoning for not wanting to meet them tomorrow?
It's nothing, no, it's nothing else.
We're too phased by those questions from Sean Charles. Thanks, Sean. Navi, again, an impressive team, but what is it about Navi that is so impressive? What is it about them that makes them a championship team?
Well, the amazing overall player skill, the way they can function in team and cover each other, and the way they stay cool in every situation. You'll never see them go on tilt. They will always think about the next game and not on the previous game. They are just a team that's cool and collected and really good in it as a team.
And we see them cool and collected in all sorts of scenarios, especially when a couple things could go wrong. There was one match, at the time it was one of the Polish teams, the wildcard team, Lemming Train, and they were able to get one of the battles using 3 T-32s, which is why I remember it, because I was so excited, but they were able to take that one battle against Navi, and then you could see Navi analyze, reset, and then go back and conquer the entire match. And so when things do go wrong, I feel they have a really great self-assessment. They can really pinpoint those mistakes that happen and then move on. Jonathan, when it comes to being a team leader for Elevate, is Navi one of the teams that you look up to or that you study for what they do?
Absolutely. Navi's success in World of Tanks is undeniable. You can watch Navi in any given situation. As long as they have a tank left alive, they can find a way to win. And I think as an up-and-coming North American team, that's something that we greatly respect. We want to be that threat no matter what, no matter how the round is going. So we watch a lot of Navi.
Virtus.PRO will be their opponents. And it's funny to think that we're not in the finals right now, because this is what the finals was last year. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at Virtus.PRO.
Officially in tomorrow already. How does that feel?
Great.
Now, you had a pretty strong game today, the last game. One game they called back. How did that game feel? Talk us through playing Elevate.
Actually, we know how they play, so we were not scared from the gameplay, and we for sure knew that we will win. So it was not a big competition for us.
Now, talking a little bit about fear, I spoke to the guys from Navi earlier, and they said that you were definitely one of the teams to look out for. Who are you looking out for tomorrow?
We trained with the Navi 70% of time, so we know for whom to scare. But actually now, because of format, you should scare almost from every team which has a good team play. And all teams which came to the next level, which came to single elimination brackets, they know how to play. So it will be some wonders tomorrow, I'm sure.
Always great to hear from Diver from Virtus.PRO as he's walking around making sure everybody is set and ready for this series. We talk about the strengths of Virtus.PRO. What are some of the issues they've been dealing with over these last number of seasons that doesn't make them the same team compared to last year? We've been hearing some of those rumors going around that Virtus.PRO has changed and not for the better.
But they're really slow. For one, they take a lot of time to come to a decision, and they still play a very, very tactical game, which gets interrupted when a team plays unexpected, which they can't control. They need that control on the map, and not a lot of teams are willing to give that anymore because they're going really aggressive, taking them out of their comfort zone. And VP doesn't always have the correct reactions because of Kuritz. He's not always, he always doing something. He's always blinking on the map, telling them what to do. And
he's very focused as a commander, but he inherited that from the T1 Cunninghams at 7x42.
He hasn't really adapted on playing at tier 6 and 7. In a lot of matches, you'll see Kuritz getting caught out because he's talking to his team and he gets surprised because he doesn't expect that position from the enemy, and then they're one tick down, and then they have to start reacting, and it's not their biggest strength.
Well, they definitely deserve to be here. They're one of the strongest teams coming out of Europe. What are their strengths? What are some things that Virtus.PRO does right?
Well, they have amazing focus fire. Their team play and their individual skills really high as well. You have individuals in that team that can hold their own. Just Cause is one of the most amazing light players in this game. If you go 1v1 against him, you have to be sure that you're going to win or he's going to take you down. But individually, they're still very high skilled, and as a team as well, you can never count them out. Just like Navi, they have that ability to stay cool, reset, and move on.
Now, Ola, voting has begun for both these teams?
Yes, that's right. And people can cast their votes for Navi or Virtus.PRO at fb.com/WGL EU Team Vote app and predict the exact scoreline. And they may win a World of Tanks branded Razer Death Adder mouse plus one of 20 bonus codes. And the winners will be chosen randomly. And for now, what I see is that it's standing at 60 for Navi and 40 for Virtus.PRO. But, well, we'll see how...
We could see some changes, yeah,
yes.
But that's still relatively close compared to some other ones where it was 90% one team, 91% one team, and 9% Elevate.
I don't think we will see this today, actually.
Yeah.
It's going to be even today, I think.
Well, Virtus.PRO is another team that a lot of the American teams will look towards as well. And a lot of the EU and CIS teams America looks at and goes, okay, how are they playing? What are the standards? What are the innovations that they're bringing? Is Virtus.PRO another one of these teams for you?
Absolutely. Anytime you see a team that's had that much success over their career in World of Tanks, it's a team that we're going to look at. And the North American meta is different, so we look at their strategies, we say, how can we use this against the teams that we're going to face? But Their strategies are fresh, they're new, and we like what we see coming from Virtus.PRO.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the maps. What were the map choices for these for this series?
Well, we're going to see Steps as first map.
Steps and Ruinberg.
Yep,
Steps and Ruinberg. Okay. Your thoughts on that, Mojo, and your thoughts on this series?
I am quite surprised that WGL chose to play Ruinberg against Navi because they must think they have some special tactics for them there.
I don't think they have much other choice though than to play those
Well,
maps.
they already banned Himmelsdorf, which
Yeah.
is now is definitely superior map. Other maps.
Cliff.
would
They were never really strong on Cliff. They never shined on Cliff.
I would rather Brawl. I mean, actually, Virtus has almost 90% win ratio on Cliff in European scene, so I would rather Brawl than this. But they have inside info that we do not have. They're actually good camp partners. They train together. They know each other very well. They train for seasons together. And knowledge they have, we cannot guess. This is another level now. We can only just lay back and see what will they do.
That's right. We're going to enjoy the ride along with everybody else. One of the questions we're going to throw out there, though, for a prediction is, will we see Artie from either one of these teams on Steps?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think either one of them is going to take the risk of bringing in Artie. I think we're going to see more controlled, step-by-step play, probably even a T32 on defense, and very tactical play, both from Navi and WGL.
Yes or no, Artie on Steps?
As an Artie player, I'm going to say no. Not since 9.6.
All right. Mojo?
Since Eclipse was replaced as a former T1 player and RT player, I don't think neither of those teams even has anyone who plays RT.
And Ola, yes or no on Artie?
So I'll just ask the community once again to tell whether they're going to see the RT or not.
All
Just
right.
use the hashtag the Grand Finals.
Thank you very much, Ola. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the match. Let's throw it on over to the commentators.
Thank you, Clutch and the Des, breaking that game down pretty in depth, but there's a lot to be said about these two. However, not really meeting in this format too regularly, especially not on a stage like this. So this is real proving grounds for both of these. And your thoughts on their progress through so far through this tournament? Because both have shown some strength and some have shown a little bit of weakness there. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think Navi had a pretty easy group. I mean, I don't want to be harsh to any of the teams,
I think
but
fair.
it goes to say that they had a couple of easy games yesterday. They won both of them 5-0. Not really tested. So really today and in this match, this is the first time we actually see Navi and what they've done in that boot camp. Obviously, they were in Moscow before this tournament. So a lot to learn for everyone sitting here, a lot to learn from all the teams. And I think Still Mojo said it perfectly. We can just sit back and enjoy the ride because these two are the best in the world. You know, first and second from 2014 World Championship, and just the two best teams we've ever seen. I think Virtus.PRO looks kind of slow and weak at the moment, but they're always that team that can step up in these kind of moments where a lot of people are doubting them.
First in each of their regions as well, qualifying through in that sort of route, fighting once again towards that trophy. Ladies and gents, this is going to be something to be remembered. I do hope we see how high that skill ceiling is between these two. It's phenomenal. So Navi up against Virtus.PRO. These two are training partners. They've worked for months for this moment. Who's going to get ahead? That's what we're going to find out. So first map, as we know, will be Steps. I believe that was Virtus.PRO's choice. Let's see what they bring to us. Navi will be starting out on the attack, Virtus.PRO on defense. What do you see so far?
Pretty standard starts. I mean, both teams just heading into where you normally see them. But I think for me, the combination of Virtus.PRO's slight weakness and Navi having that new player in is where I really want everyone to be looking at. Does Navi suffer with Angel Killer instead of Rhino? And does Virtus.PRO suffer from what seems to be an apparent lax in their ability to perform? And of course, they got Coca-Cola, who's only been playing for, let's say, 3 or 4
Very
weeks in that team. So not very much experience with the team. But I think he's had enough time to kind of ground himself in there, so it shouldn't be a massive problem. So that's the kind of comparison I want you to make.
And now LeShard going to be starting to head around towards that northeast side, and obviously we can see what's just waiting over that hill. If they decide to peek up, he'll be gone very quickly. However, just toying with that cap. He's got backup, they've got backup. They know what each other's doing. They're so well, and they held their nerve. They didn't give away the game. They've not been spotted. Breakneck does get spotted. He's been caught a little bit. But LeShard went looking and found nothing.
A nice little matrix style from Breakneck, but I think it was good from Virtus.PRO that didn't actually go for Lev Shah in that situation, because yes, they would have taken down one T54, but they can have so much more. They do finally spring the trap, and they might just take him down, but they have got good positions now. They can actually rotate around and deal with Na'Vi.
They're both moving in as well. Both teams going to be meeting on this eastern front. They look like they're committing for this. Both taking them a little low, and yeah, Tolish going to be the first in on this one. Going to be heading towards Just Cause. No shots really connecting just yet, but here we go. Just Cause getting decimated down. Surely Parasite was going to finish the job. No, he stays alive. Gunning the game will continue. Gorilla finally goes down. We've seen the 1-for-1 exchange. Nothing gained, nothing lost. But look at the HP here. Na'Vi are trailing. They're just behind here. If Virtus.PRO can take them out now, it'll be perfect. But Popple still alive, still firing. Inspira pushed back over the hill. And Parasite looks to finish the job. Takes down Popple. And Na'Vi are in ruins.
That was a massive, massive mistakes from Na'Vi. They should have reversed backwards. They took way too much damage in that situation. It's given Virtus.PRO a great entry.
Let's see if they can take it all the way through now. They have to push this around. Na'Vi don't let these chances slip. So now, Na'Vi looking to work away. They get denied by Coca-Cola. More to come though. Still, Angel Killer in the game. Slide goes down. It's down to 2 now. 2 left, and Virtus.PRO will pick up round 1. Be phenomenal. Angel Killer dealt with. It's down to 1 man. And we know that Virtus.PRO have got round 1 in the bag. Bishop seals the deal. Round 1 on the board.
Next level stuff. We have next level stuff, ladies and gentlemen, because Virtus.PRO sprung the trap at the perfect time. They waited for the perfect time, and they managed to successfully beat Na'Vi. Mistakes from Na'Vi definitely didn't help them, but Virtus.PRO, just a better team.
And they knew exactly what was going on then. When Lev Shah headed into that cap circle, who was it they pulled back? I think they pulled back one player who headed slightly over towards the east. I'm not sure who it was. He took a little bit of damage.
It was Breakneck who was heading across the field. He was just getting that information.
And he got it. He
wanted to see where Na'Vi were. By scouting across, yes, he took like 300-400 damage, but he knew that Na'Vi was on that back line sniping across. That gave Virtus.PRO the ability to go forwards. They knew they can still catch Lev Shah. I'm not sure exactly if they were thinking, can we actually kill Lev Shah or not? But at least we have that positional advantage. So for Virtus.PRO, once they were in that situation, they were in the better positions. They can make the shots. Na'Vi really struggled against Povell. He's a great player, and he managed to shrug off a lot of the shells from Na'Vi. And they also just stayed there too long. They were trying to make shots across the kind of hills. Obviously, the T-54 is not great, hasn't got great gun depression. So Na'Vi just making a few individual mistakes. They wanted to take down at least a couple of the tanks, or at least do a little bit of damage, because they knew that Virtus.PRO were ahead. And when Virtus.PRO gets ahead, there's no real stopping them.
No, they really do push it home, but this is going to be such a mind game between these two as well. I think we've seen it so perfectly put out then, how long they held their nerve, because they not necessarily knew exactly what was up, but because they didn't just throw kind of caution to the wind and go in there for it, it shows that they're so ready for this match. And I'm really excited to see how this now continues. Now, kind of resetting our minds, let's go back. If you're now in Na'Vi's shoes, you're 0-1 down. It's nothing huge, but it's not the way you want to begin. What do you do going into round 2 now? How do you bring yourself back into it? Do you try something similar, or just maybe work on the things that went wrong in it?
So I just want to mention that when two teams are as good as these two, and they've had so much practice against each other, I mean, these guys have been going back and forward since 2012, back all the way in Star Ladder series, and then through the Wargaming League and all the other events we've been to. So they've really got a lot of experience against each other.
Yep.
And that kind of negates the whole attacking defense thing. I mean,
it turns into a 50-50.
It turns into a 50-50 because they've had so much practice against each other. They know how they play. They know the individual player ability. They know what the mistakes are going to be. So yes, Virtus.PRO managed to win a defensive round on steps, which is, to be honest, the expected thing.
Correct.
Na'Vi is training to win on attack against Virtus.PRO probably every single day. I mean, Steps is the most picked map in the Wargaming League across the board. I mean, you're talking about CN, you're talking about APAC, North America, Russia, Europe. Steps is just the most popular because it's the most balanced. So you can really not draw any kind of favoritism to attack and defense bias. So good round on the board for Virtus.PRO. They've got tactics. Na'Vi just need to reset themselves a little bit and just do it game by game, because if they think about that last round, they're gonna tilt, and that's nothing what Na'Vi ever does.
Exactly, and I think it was brought up on the desk. I'm not sure if it was Mojo or Daki who said they're the team that almost never tilts. You look at Virtus.PRO, they can sometimes spiral themselves out of a game, but this is a good start for them. But Na'Vi can rebuild, they can put those blocks back in. And the funny thing is, when you said there's very little difference between these two, there's only a 3% difference of win and loss ratio over the maps picked in 2 regions between these two. That's incredible. They're so close to each other in ability, and once again, we get to see it proven in the next round. Similar sides, similar start, 2 on each. But now, let's see what Na'Vi have changed. Have they adapted? What did they come up with in this small downtime? We're going to find out. Look at these lineups. Symmetrical to a T. They're exactly similar. And now Na'Vi once again on the attack. It's Virtus.PRO on the defense. And what do you make of this? Identical lineups.
Identical lineups, identical starts from at least Na'Vi. Virtus.PRO obviously not going for the same thing twice because Na'Vi doesn't fall for the same thing twice. I mean, also you've got to remember Virtus.PRO is better on the attack on this map, so what they'll be needing to do is innovate more on the defense, and they've kind of just made sure that Na'Vi's not switching things up, and you'll see them rotate once they've locked that down.
See, now I want to ask you a question. In your opinion, what Na'Vi did just then, was that just to really ensure that no one's on that eastern side? And I'm curious to see if Virtus.PRO expected that now, because this is this back and forward mind game that I'm going to see consistently happening, and already starting a cap.
I think Virtus.PRO kind of got pipped to the post. I mean, they were clearly waiting to see if Na'Vi pushed the 1-3 line. They weren't. So they rotated back pretty quickly, but Na'Vi just went all in. They kind of gambled on the fact that Virtus.PRO wouldn't be over that side. They wouldn't be held down. Obviously using the T-37 to actually see if they can get any spots. But it will mean Virtus.PRO will have to get that reset on because the cap is on about 9 seconds left.
Yeah, they're not messing around here. Na'Vi are going for a full cap this time. They're going to have to force them. 5 seconds left. Virtus.PRO, where are you right now? They need to stop this cap. Just about comes in. Stopped in the last second. And now the counterplay comes out from Na'Vi. They're going to try and make a play from this. So far, it's so close.
Na'Vi actually has to push out that cap because the pressure can't be maintained. Virtus.PRO just needs to kind of go back and forth, try and get the even exchanges, and when they do, they can push in and find a weakness.
And there we have it, Virtus.PRO racking up their kills. The HP, however, is still in Na'Vi's favor, but can they turn that into something now? Guns in the game become so strong. Even though Povel is so low, he can still do so much damage. Can that Na'Vi magic start beginning? Can it show through this game? Because we're seeing a slight adaptation. Teams rotating, they can see each other, they're responding to each other. It's this game of cat and mouse, almost like a chess game with these pieces falling into place. Breakneck there does take one from Slide. Great positioning in the end from Power Slide, getting himself ready to deny that defilade towards Virtus.PRO.
He's the thorn on the side of Virtus.PRO. He's just amazing up into that position. It's so hard to get rid of them. Sometimes you even see teams pick artillery just to counter that spot. Obviously, these two haven't gone for that, and Virtus.PRO just had to try and find another solution. I think what Virtus.PRO's done well is that they got a lot of tanks on low amount of HP. They got plenty of guns in the game. That will give them the option to not brute force, but to out-tactic, to outplay the positions of Na'Vi.
And I love it. You can't challenge one player of Na'Vi right now. They punish them and Breakneck goes down. You can see the frustration all over his face. This is going to start getting a little bit tentative for Virtus.PRO. They're still just about in this one. Kills starting to be claimed back in, as you saw, but still 43 seconds on the cap. It's not the main focus here. Na'Vi starting to build their plan, starting to make their own game. Lafshar is heading up towards the north. One others joining him slightly further ahead, and they could possibly catch one out here, but Just Cause seems to have something in mind. And are these two counter-rotating around each other? There we go. There's that shell coming in towards Just Cause. Takes one, gives one. Nothing gained, nothing lost, aside from the information. And that's pretty substantial, considering they're starting to look at the south. And I want to point out again how much Power Slide is denying to Virtus.PRO. These 3 tanks can no longer go around towards that eastern side to make the most of the others because one player is holding it off. That's brilliant.
But there is a bit of a deadlock. Levshar, Kyriloid are making sure Just Cause can't get into that A5, A6 kind of tribune through. Because he'll be able to get great side shots on, and Slide won't be able to help him. Slide is actually coming off, so I think Na'Vi will be getting themselves together and going for a last push. They know they got a lot of hit points over Virtus.PRO. They just need to find themselves one of those low hit point tanks and push them in. I think Virtus.PRO are doing a great job because Bishop is in the most obvious place to push. You know, they haven't got so many hills on there, so it's not very slow. So he will be the main focus for Na'Vi at the beginning. It might not work out.
Power Slide's getting pretty aggressive then. He's getting fairly close. He's teetering on the edge of almost peeking towards Bishop, who you said is quite the linchpin in this, quite the focus. And there you go. You can see it from Bishop's perspective. He knows how close his demise could be, just over the hill. Cap still going. They're so close to pushing this one through. They're so close to peeking out. And every time he does, he gets one, has to come back in. He can't be making hap-handed peaks like that. And as you can see, the time is now starting to build up again. 9 seconds on the clock on every front. They're going to meet up in the north as well. And 6 seconds on this cap. We're going to keep our eyes everywhere right now because Na'Vi are trying to pull something off. 2 seconds left. Can reset going Bishop! In the last second again with Povel. Beautifully done, denying Na'Vi. And now Povel comes in, exchanges, he gets his worth. But can they now seal the deal? Na'Vi's starting to take the lead here. They get themselves in the driving position to take this game, but they're still on the attack and they still need to find these two players.
If Kusok and Coca-Cola can get one reset, one has to run away and they might just be able to draw this one out, but I don't think they can. Kusok on a slither of HP.
Power slide hitting that one shot is almost negating Kusok's presence. Maybe he can just run in and do what he can, but they're going to have to reset this and they're going to have to then wait out the rest of the time. As you said, this is a tough task. 20 seconds left. They need to time this to perfection if they want it to work out. 18 seconds of Shah again in such a powerful position. Power slide, getting a little bit more aggressive, pushing himself up. 12 seconds left. They're going to have to make a move here. Kusok goes down. Slide is knowing exactly how he wants to play this. The time is ticking, and I don't think Virtus.PRO can get back in time to do anything about what is happening towards them. Nice shot in the end from Coca-Cola, but sadly it will not be enough, and that was just brilliant play in the end.
I would be very worried about Virtus.PRO because Na'Vi are the better defensive team on steps, not particularly strong in the attack, so worrying times for the European seed #1 at the moment, but it was back and forwards right to the very end. I think it was that initial engagement that gave Na'Vi a little bit more hit points to play around with. You had Slide in that great position, and again, it was just about the timings. Virtus.PRO was so quick up north, thinking that Na'Vi would rotate around. They didn't, so they came back again, but Na'Vi had already got themselves into that eastern cap #2. And with Slide in that position right towards the east, there's really not much they could do. I think if I would criticize anything, it would be that they should have used their two-tank advantage to kind of surround, close the net on Na'Vi, and then just try and strangle them, take a couple of shots, make a little bit of damage, and just bring that hit points back into their favor.
So much up in the air. Now we get almost a brand new game on the other side. But as you said, attack and defense isn't the biggest focus here. It's how do we counter this team right in front of us? And 1-1, I think it sums these two up perfectly, doesn't it?
It does. It's
Just
great. It's just amazing. These guys are going to go back and forwards. And I really do want to reiterate that point. These guys aren't playing normal tactics. This is not normal steps.
No.
This is adaptive. It's what they've seen from the other round, from the other team, that dictates what they do in the upcoming round. So if you play your standard steps, attack, the whole T-37 in the northern cap, you're going to get outplayed by a standard anti-strat to that one. So you've always got to adapt, and I think you'll see that as we go through these games. More and more adaptation, more and more versatility from the teams, and just good reactions all round.
The audience clearly getting into this one. I like to see that. Still, I don't know, fairly early in the afternoon, so people getting into the swing of things here nice and early.
I'm not usually up at this time on a Sunday afternoon.
No, I don't think anyone is normally. It's what, 2 now? It's a little bit drastic. Still, 2 more rounds on this map to go. Next map coming up will be Ruinberg. I have no idea what the scoreline will be when we get to that. And these two teams so evenly matched, I cannot say enough. However, they'll be switching sides now. A fresh start, a fresh half maybe, for one to take the lead. Na'Vi at the top there, looking pretty focused, looking very ready for this next round. Virtus.PRO stoic as ever. Last couple of words just being talked through.
I don't know if Karitz is that stoic. He normally is, but he's so
looking
animated.
a little bit up to it, yeah.
I literally never said a word to Karitz. I try and talk to him, just flat face me, poker faces.
Yep.
He's a machine. He doesn't have blood, he has oil. That guy hardly ever talks. So when you see it animated, you see him shouting at his team, he's really, really into it.
Let's see what they've got in store. So, Na'Vi this time will be on the defense, and we've... power slide.
The kills or strat, #1.
Exactly. Daki's going to be down the table saying, I made this. I'm not so sure about that, but power slide will be put up there. I think they can make it, but look who's coming over that hill.
Ooh.
It may be a monster.
Boys.
Virtus.PRO might just find them if they look down far enough, if they keep this up, if they keep pushing. This could be a disaster for Na'Vi.
They missed them. They missed them. They go straight past.
Oh my word, and Slide is up
now
there.
they found them. The
Now
spots
they
are
know.
up.
The turrets are turning, they know what's up. Angel Killer is the first on the front lines, but here comes Darren. Slide comes down the hill. He's taken so much already. Damage flooding in towards Na'Vi, and Virtus.PRO have him surrounded.
I think it was a great exchange for Virtus.PRO. They got the higher ground. They got all the positions they need as the attacker. They just need to execute properly. Their big problem will be inspiring that T-32 right in the middle of your screens. If he gets himself into a good hold-down position, 298 millimeters of armor will just stop anything in his path that Virtus.PRO can throw at it.
And this is an aggressive Virtus.PRO, something we very rarely see, taking true initiative. But as you said, this is a different environment, and already Just Cause and Povil might have to deal with so much power coming out from Na'Vi. 2 shells back-to-back, bringing that HP into Na'Vi's favor, but can they use it? The cap begins, but Just Cause takes so much to cross those show roads. And now this is starting to look a little dangerous on the flank around the back. They're starting to fold in, and you can see Lashar desperately turning around. He knows they're going to try and make a play from this. They're trying to just cover all angles, but Kusok taking down Angel Killer is not making it easy.
Here come Virtus.PRO.
They're going to go for the push. They have to make the play. Up in the north, they're folding in, they're rotating, they're trying to counter it. Anatolish takes so much. Power slide focusing on Kusok. Kusok down to a one-shot now. Lashar waiting on the shell. Takes it, slide and Inspire to take down 2. But it's such a brawl, it could go either way. Higher ground being held by Virtus.PRO, but Na'Vi are still pushing in. Strike comes round, gets met by 2, taken low. Bishop gets down in an exchange, but this could go either way still.
Creed's getting a great kill onto Strike, and Virtus.PRO trying to do as much as they can. They just need to hold on.
It's 3v2 now. Just Cause, Coca-Cola and Kareed still alive in this. Kirill is so low now, down to a one-shot. Just Cause rammed. Look at this HP. Oh, Just Cause takes him down, and now just looks sharp. 1v3. He'd have to pull off something incredible here to pull this one through, but he knows that this is near on the impossible task here. Debt's won, but it's over and done with. Virtus.PRO brilliantly played out, punishing Na'Vi. Wow.
What a game. What a game. I think what I really have to highlight is when Virtus.PRO decided to counter-rotate, re-rotate after about 10
Chasing
seconds of
around
being
each
pushed
other
by
almost.
Na'Vi. I mean, you got to look at it like this. Virtus.PRO had the initial pressure. They kind of got a little bit unlucky that one of them didn't tip over that little hill, because they would have seen the whole of Na'Vi trying to push left shot, I'm not sure, slide up the hill in that 2-5-1. They didn't, but still they had the higher ground, so they got a good amount of initial damage. Then they realized that they probably have to rotate and go for another strategy, otherwise Na'Vi will be able to kind of get on their sides, get on their back and get some good damage. And then Na'Vi sees that, they push up, do great damage against, for instance, Just Cause and that T-54. And then for like 10 seconds, Na'Vi don't do anything. Immediately Virtus.PRO rotate around, do some great damage, take down Angel Killer, and that was game over. So you're talking about 1 or 2 second decisions that really do change the game dynamic and give it to whatever team decides to go for them.
2-1, Virtus.PRO leading it, but will it be back-to-back? This is the thing that I want to see. How many rounds go, okay, Virtus.PRO 1, Na'Vi 1, Virtus.PRO 1, Na'Vi 1, back and forth the whole way. I almost feel as though Na'Vi have to now find that response. They got caught out then, they had a plan, it did not work out quick enough, it wasn't fast enough. On the desk, they theorized how Virtus.PRO sometimes are a very slow team. They don't make these quick, rash decisions. They've been caught out by the aggression of others. But we saw then sheer confidence in pushing almost across the map. As soon as they didn't spot anything, they made a play out of it, and that is fantastic from them.
Here's the thing, though. Their decision-making was absolutely on point, and that's what carried them through that game. But, for instance, if you look at Kazna crew versus Schoolbus, Kazna had better pushes than Virtus.PRO did then. Virtus.PRO was still pretty slow at pushing, and that might just really play into Na'Vi's hands in the next couple of games, maybe when we go into Ruinberg, where the tactical decision is of course important, but there's always going to be a point where you just need that split-second call within the firefight to kind of sway the game in your favor.
Yeah, and it's quite funny you mentioned that. I was speaking to the Kazna crew guys outside and kind of discussing how they do their tactics, how they think things through, and how they kind of approach a game. And I believe it's actually their newest member, the Finn, who joined. They basically allow him a lot of influence towards those quick choice decisions. A man from Spale, of all things, the most untactical teams at times. But his calls, they said, they're always spot on. In those moments where most people's decision-making is blurred or unfocused, his calls are perfect. And maybe you see that occasionally working out for Kazna, that just kind of keep them on that little bit of an unpredictable edge almost. But still, these two almost a completely different beast in my eyes. They're playing a game above what we can even comprehend half the time here. But You can see the likes of Kusok almost cracking a smile after that game as well. I've never seen him look actually cheerful after a game, but clearly happy with the 2-1 so far. But in your eyes, surely this has to go 2-2.
It has to go for 2-2 if Virtus.PRO wants a chance on Ruhenberg. They have to get this all even and, well, try and make it work for them. But it's so up in the air. We really have no clue what will happen the next map. Again, it's split-seconds decisions that make these two teams what they are and the beasts they are. It's absolutely fantastic. It's almost a shame that this is a quarter and not a final.
I think it's just the caliber of the teams here at this event. We are truly seeing some phenomenal things. So guys, this is the last round on the first map. This is huge for both teams. A 2-2 score will be great. However, I kind of want something a little bit more spicy, let's say. But still, Virtus.PRO on the attack here, Na'Vi on the defense, and a completely different start once again coming out. These mind games are just kind of above and beyond, but Na'Vi also starting differently. What do we make of it so far?
Well, Na'Vi, it's not a massively unusual tactic. I mean, they got the T32 hull down, Inspiro playing that one. Yes, it's different from pushing up because you can't do the same thing twice, but it's a standard stack from them, and Virtus.PRO will have to go for something a little bit special to beat it. But also, they're going to put a tank up into A3, the Ruster area, I like to call it, and the T37 in the cap. So at the start, apply a little bit of pressure to Na'Vi, see what they do, see what the response is, and then it's really in those next 30 seconds to a minute that we really see who's going to win it.
See, and this is almost a typical way we see this map being played out. Almost. See the T32 in place, you see kind of where they're playing in a more normal fashion. This is what we got used to, at least in my eyes, in the region. However, these two teams are going to change things up a little bit there. Nice little exchange early on. Nothing really too hectic, but Virtus.PRO's lineup clearly lighter, obviously, with that T32 in play for Na'Vi. They're going to have a little bit more to depend on. However, the cap being started, what do we make of the position coming out from Virtus.PRO and Na'Vi? Are they looking like they're fairly comfortable so far? Not quite yet pushing towards that timer?
So you got the T54 in the middle from Virtus.PRO. That's very interesting because they're predicting that Na'Vi is not going to go through the A5, A6, A7 area up into where Just Cause is. They're predicting that Na'Vi will come around the side, but that T54 just got spotted. It's got good cover from the one in E2. So we have to see how this one works. But some bouncers actually coming out onto Create 2's actually might fall.
Oof, Inspiro lined up the prediction shot. He did get taken down by Slide in the end. So Karit's out of the game. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get that cap underway. They'd have to actually commit something a little bit more beefy towards that if they really did want to get it going. But still, I want to see how Virtus.PRO want to overcome this. We've seen them have to play against this sort of lineup and these sort of tactics, but maybe not to this sort of caliber of team. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Where's the vulnerable spot against Na'Vi? Is there one?
Well, Kreese just died, and I think he might have shot to actually get spotted there, or maybe Levshar managed to go forwards because that was really, really bad for Virtus.PRO. That might have just cost them the game. The T37 applies pressure, not necessarily in the damage kind of way, but in the kind of flanking and the annoyance. It's like a little fly you can't actually get out of your house. It's always there, exactly. It's always buzzing around your ears, and if you ignore it, it's going to eventually drive you insane. It's good for pressure on the caps as well. So it's forced Virtus.PRO's hand. They have to try something new. Just Cause is waiting, and they got I believe Pavel up there in the T54 as bait. And then the rest of Virtus.PRO are going to use him as bait and then push around and hope that Na'Vi have their turrets in the wrong direction.
Ooh, Inspire might be up to something. The Antolish as well, all kind of thinking maybe this is a trap. We've not seen anyone else for a long time before. They'd spotted a couple of Virtus.PRO members. Now, not seeing anything for a while, they might be starting to readjust and they might be starting to cotton on to what Virtus.PRO are up to. And this is the beauty of this game. Even when the information isn't there, it means so much. But Pavel consistently being spotted. They know he's still in that spot, but will they expect what's running around this corner? Spots coming out. They know what is coming their way now, and I can't wait to see this unfold.
They don't know that Slide and that 251's up towards the right. If Slide just waits, this could be very bad news for Virtus.
Let's see. There we go. Finally spotted. You can see instantly adjusting accordingly. Coca-Cola backing out of this one, going to try and maybe find a bit of cover. Shell after shell coming in, but not quite making as much damage as maybe Slide had hoped, but still, the jig is up. Everyone knows what was happening, and now Virtus.PRO are scrambling for an answer to how Na'Vi are defending.
Now, if Virtus.PRO's too slow to the chase, they might just make some mistakes here. At the moment, Na'Vi are not doing anything special. Virtus.PRO are just trying to find weaknesses, and Levshar seems to be that one.
Yeah, Levshar got a little bit maybe overzealous and over peaking that slight ridge, and But look at the HP overall. It's still very low for Virtus.PRO. They could be cleaned up very quickly. Just Cause down to a one-shot. This is pushing Na'Vi over that edge, and they're starting to get the kills in. The Anatolish taking down Just Cause. Bishop is being herded around by Curiel, and look at this, back-to-back kills coming in. Na'Vi surely have this one in the bag. Bishop can do so little here, trying to focus down the Anatolish with Povl, but I don't think they might even have a chance to do that, being folded in on all sides. They will surely go down here. Bishop, Breakneck, Coca-Cola stand, 0 HP with them almost now. This should be over and done with very quickly. Coca-Cola, last man up, and he has got a lot of men rolling his way.
Coca-Cola, the new substitute for Virtus.PRO, been in the team very short amount of time, of course, replacing Vorsic, the last man alive and the last man to fall, as Na'Vi do bring it up 2-2 all.
I don't think it'd be right if we didn't have a nice, even game to begin with. 2-2. What a first map to start things off with. And I kind of expected it in a way. Steps is that map where these teams have so much strength individually, but I was a little saddened by Virtus.PRO in that final round, just seeming to lose that focus once that play with Karit seemed to be off the board. And obviously Power Slide sitting in that spot just seemed to really throw them off.
I think Virtus.PRO kind of thought we need to go back to the basics, because we've tried 3 rounds now where we've kind of innovated and gone for a crazy tactic. But it was simply 1 loss when Kreitz and that T-37 died, because I'm not sure exactly how he got spotted. He might have shot, or maybe Na'Vi got a tank far enough forwards to actually find him. But usually, you know, if you go for that tactic, you pick a 59-16, or in this current meta, the AMX-12T. So it has better camo value, and also better shooting camo value. So when you shoot, of course, it changes your camo factor, basically. So Na'Vi looking strong, nothing particularly amazing about that round. They saw an obvious weakness, they pushed forwards, they exploited it, they took the tanks down, and then they just moved on to the next one. Very easy stuff from them, and I think they can just continue to get themselves relaxed into this next round, as they will have more confidence on Ruinberg.
Yeah, Ruinberg overall, in theory, is slightly percentually better for Virtus.PRO, but by literally 3%. It's nothing to be read into almost at this point. They're so equal to each other. It's kind of unfathomable. But as you said, I don't like even the idea of trying to face Na'Vi on Ruinberg. They've looked extraordinarily strong in the past and present. But then again, what does Virtus.PRO have up their sleeve? What sort of tactics have they thought of? What new plays have they worked out during that time where they've been practicing against each other? These two, time in and time out, have been playing against each other through all the maps, through all of the situations they wanted to test coming into this event. And what they come up with could counter their #1 opponent.
I think what you also have to keep in mind is that Na'Vi in the CIS and RU region have harder opponents on Ruinberg than Virtus.PRO
You know Kazna
does.
could hear you, right? That's just rude.
Well, we saw Kazna yesterday failing a little bit on that map on Ruinberg.
Very true.
I think that was more reflective of their current state of mind. But you know, I just want to say that. I mean, you got to look at the regions. I mean, EU and RU is very similar across the board. But we saw yesterday, and we predicted beforehand that the CIS is just better at Ruinberg. Their meta is better, their play is better, they got better situational awareness on the map. I think EU, for instance, can be better on Muravanka because they've played it a lot more, they got a lot more experience, they feel more comfortable on it.
It's quite impressive that, really, Virtus.PRO chose to play against the 2 Russian teams, or CIS teams, who actually came over here. WPSC6, also their other training partner. I was speaking to Diver, and he was saying, it was 30% we train against those guys. That was our 30% opponent. I guess the 17 was Na'Vi.
Well, yeah, they're training Chaos against SC6, and they're training Logic against Na'Vi.
Let's see what one works out. Na'Vi starting on the top. You can see him there, focused, ready for this one. Virtus.PRO as well, knowing that they're in for a hard game now. There's no 2 ways about it. On paper, this should be a Na'Vi win. Virtus.PRO need to pull out something impressive. And while you look over those lineups, take it in. We can break down what we're going to be going to. Virtus.PRO are on the attack first, Na'Vi on the defense. And what do we see so far?
It makes me very happy when I see Breakneck back on the AMX 1390. He's such a beast in that tank. The highest damage dealer for Virtus.PRO by far, and probably one of the best players in the league. But early engagements going through as Virtus.PRO trying to bully their way into that eastern village.
Yeah, nice little bit of work from Inspire early on. I think he was only just cause a touch. But once again, nothing really gained or lost at this point. Good positioning, kind of brought up by Virtus.PRO, but not allowed in towards that village. There's a lot of heavier tanks sitting there waiting for the chance to pounce that 5100. One in the hands of Strake, actually. Ooh, Just Cause, big shell comes in. That's a lot of damage.
A big roll. It was up 480 odd. I mean, the IS-3 can do a maximum of 488 damage and 390 is the average. So unlucky for Virtus.PRO taking so much at the beginning, and that might just thwart them or maybe slow down their current approach. But it looks like those two MX-1390s want to rotate to A4, A5, maybe get a cap underway. You've got the 5100 heading that way as well. So I imagine what they're going to do, use the camera value of the MX-1390s to either go to A6, A7 or cap, and use the 5100 in the background to support them.
And I want to see what that T-37 gets up to. So far, it's just holding position. I'm kind of curious if he starts falling back. This is the thing that I love seeing these two, when they know each other and they know the play they're bringing up. They know they've only seen limited amounts, Na'Vi, of Virtus.PRO towards that eastern side village. However, 5100 and those 1390s starting to head up towards the north, as you theorized may be the case. It looks like Breakneck and Coca-Cola, the experienced with the new, going to be heading up there. And we can take it from the perspective of Breakneck here. Such a big player in this tank. Let's see it from his eyes.
This is the main man. This is the guy you really have to be looking out for Virtus.PRO. Doing about 10k average damage per match.
Oh, now he's going to have to do some damage on the run as well. 1390 is going to be put to the test. Angel Killer, another newer addition for Na'Vi. Going to be focused on, first of all, Coca-Cola going to go and deal with him, hopefully. And there we go. Actually, no, it's Strike taking down Karitz. This is not going well. Finally dealt with in the end by Breakneck. Beautiful shot, just crisply turning it round. And now, Virtus.PRO trailing in HP. It does become an issue on this map. It can be so hard to get in on the attack, but look at the counterplay from Na'Vi. They want to be aggressive here.
They have to try and find a weakness. They're probably going to go for Bishop. I'm not sure exactly they know where he is, but the cap's in the way. They know if they don't take care of these three tanks, they'll be outcapped.
Oh, look at this one-to-one as well. Inspire up against Just Cause. Levshar dealing with Bishop in the background. Three tank in the cap going towards the north. That IS-3 slowly trundling towards them as Just Cause gets the shell, does not make it. Inspire does not miss. And now 22 seconds, 32, the reset came in. Slide and Kyrilloid looking to do so much damage, and they do. Slide takes down Pobble. They do have some cover now for Virtus.PRO, but I don't know if they're going to make it just that long enough.
Those MX-1390s are very small, but 20 seconds. I'm not sure if Virtus.PRO really has time to cap this. I don't think they do, as Kyrilloid does come charging in with that IS-3.
He knows he can do so much work here. 15 seconds, they have to weather the storm. Breakneck and his buddy Coca-Cola now tucked into the corner. The onslaught comes in, and look at this play coming out. All together, folding in towards. He takes down one, but it's not enough with two tanks remaining. Virtus.PRO tried to pull something off, but sadly, they just don't have the resources to make it work now.
Coca-Cola just on reload now in the MX-1390. The last man remaining for Virtus.PRO's rather lackluster attempt on the first round as the attacker on Nuremberg.
They gave it a good shot, I feel, almost. But as you said, there seems to be so much power with the Na'Vi side on this map. They seem to be in control on every front. The 1v1s, they won out. They overtook the cap circle, they took control of the village, and they gave Virtus.PRO nothing. So they said, okay, actually, you know what? We'll give you the city for a little while. You can take that, but we'll take it back from you later regardless. So what options are there for Virtus.PRO here? Because we've said Na'Vi and generally the CIS region is very good on Nuremberg. What is there left to do then? What can they pull out here?
Well, they've probably got plan number two. That's one of those tactics that can work or cannot work just on the whim. Just depending on the timings. I mean, the plan was obvious. They wanted to split Na'Vi up and hope that one of the two caps would work. But it simply didn't work because Na'Vi were quick enough, and some bad initial play by Virtus.PRO didn't help them out. Now, if I was Virtus, maybe go for that all-in Eastern push, but you have to innovate a little bit. One attacking round on Nuremberg is maybe even a necessity at this point. But again, it's so hard to out-bully the kind of players Na'Vi has on those IS-3s. I mean, the Anatolich, when he plays an IS-3 or a T-32, he's unbelievable. Not only because he does great damage, but also because he can team lead at a higher level because he's playing a slower tank. He doesn't have to make those quick, instant decisions for him personally. He can make those quick, instant decisions for his team.
It's such a powerful combination. Everything about these teams, especially Na'Vi on this map. Keep your eyes on it, learn from it, take something away from it, because these guys are truly the masters of it, and they're getting very close now getting towards the semi-finals. This is what it's all about now. One of these two teams has to get there. And Na'Vi leading currently 3-2. Nothing too much, but now this is a proving point. Virtus.PRO need one round now to give themselves a good chance. If not, a 4-2 scoreline against Na'Vi, you can't see it happening. You can't see it working. We're going to find out any second now. The fight will be on. It's the quarterfinals. Virtus.PRO up against Na'Vi, 3-2. We are going in to round number 2 between these two giants of their regions. CIS up against the EU. This is a huge battle.
I think Virtus.PRO right now will be wanting to go 4-0 on this map because they could probably quite easily beat Na'Vi on Prokhorovka. Na'Vi doesn't fight well in Chaos, and one little mistake will give them the round.
Changes.
So Virtus.PRO would love to win on this map, but if they can get 4-4, that's what they're aiming for.
Let's see if they can get on the right road towards it. They need this round. It's a big round. It's an important one to bring the scoreline back even. It will be Virtus.PRO on the attack, Na'Vi on the defense. And what changes are we seeing? Because this looks like a very different lineup.
So they got the MT25, a big brute of a tank, tier 6. Really nice little gun. It does a lot of damage. I think it's 57 millimeters. It's just a little bit awkward as it's quite large. Cannon value is not great, but it's fast. And it certainly has a little bit of armor, so it can also bounce. But initial play is towards that eastern side. They're just trying to out-snipe Na'Vi. Good initial damage to Angel Killer, the substitute for Na'Vi. And really, they'll be testing the water, seeing if they can find anything in the Na'Vi's lineup that they can exploit. And really, it's going to be about Na'Vi to rotate because they know that if they continue to stay in these positions where Virtus.PRO is behind all the buildings, behind all the bushes, with Karitz forward in that MT25, they're going to be spotted and they're going to be taken down.
And I like this. Straight away, as you mentioned, that MT25 pushing itself up towards that eastern village. So already making the most, gathering that information as quickly as possible. Inspire did hold back a little, so just waiting it out a little bit. Maybe expecting this with Strake and the Anatolish. So maybe just keeping their options open, making sure they don't give up complete control of that eastern village. However, looking at Virtus.PRO, Ollie, they look like they're just going to go for that city play again, but now they've got vaster numbers and they want to take the fight towards the north.
I think Virtus.PRO will just go straight through again, take down Angel Killer, but they don't realize Kyriloid's there. Kyriloid will be a real pain. Those AMX 1390 is only 240 penetration. They might really struggle against the side of the IS-3.
We're going to find out. Swiftly dealt with. Angel Killer goes down, but as you mentioned, the pain in the pest. Kyriloid, can he do it? Can he hold on long enough? Those 1390s going to struggle a little here, but then there's the Master, there's Breakneck, there's the first shell coming in, readjust, second shell comes in, Breakneck going to be doing some real damage. Look at this man, absolutely phenomenal play from Breakneck, shell after shell. Can he get another? Will he peek out for it? Holding his nerve, waiting to see what he can do. And now over the horizon, here comes the play. In the background, there's two players, Kusok, and I believe it's Karit, watching them push across the map now. This is going to start becoming a very hard task.
Airstrake and the Anatolic are going to receive so much damage. They're desperately trying to get the reset on this cap, but Virtus.PRO has them pipped to the post in terms of positions.
But Levshar looking to try and change that. Comes round, challenges now Breakneck. He will have the shell just about first. Karitz finds Strake. This is looking like it could be good, but look at Inspire around the backside. He's caught him out! He's caught them round the back. Can he slow this down enough? That's the question. Levshar finds Coca-Cola. Game's not over yet. Do not write out Na'Vi just yet with play like that. Inspire finds Breakneck. The three remaining players just need to hold on now. They're on the defending side, but Inspire wants blood, and he sees Just Cause.
And Just Cause is on his own. He's unsupported, so Inspire in that T-54 with the non-autolating gun can take him down.
This is perfect from Na'Vi. Look at him chasing him down. He wants this so badly. Shell comes through. Can he finish the job off cleanly this time? They need to make it count. They need to make this quick. His teammates are falling in the background. They're down to two players. Na'Vi are starting to struggle here, but it is Inspire. It is Levshar, but there's still three to find.
Karitz needs to push, and he needs to distract at least one of them. He's probably going to go for Inspire as Kusok goes for Levshar.
Now it's just down to one. There was one remaining. It is Inspire. What can he do? His position was known. Oh, the bounce comes through. Inspire just about making it away here. Cap will begin. Three players stand. Can he hold on? Can he stop this? All in his hands to make this play. The cap is starting to speed up. You can see it there. Shots starting to come in. He needs to be careful. Picking up 3 kills so far. Can he make it anymore? Looking for the shot. Still not reset this cap. It's still going. He's getting these spots. just peers out. He does get one. Looking for more. 3 players tucked in against each other. He needs to make the perfect play. I don't know if it's even possible at this point. Gonna start pushing in. He needs to make this shot and stay alive. Can he do it on the run? That's the big question. Gets one, Inspire. Can he make it away though? He gets hit twice. He's got cover though. He's doing this as much as he can, but here comes the counterfold. He's fighting his way through. This is down to the wire.
He has to try and stay alive for as long as possible. There's 2 minutes left on the clock, and I don't think Virtus.PRO are going to give him an edge.
Sadly not. Inspire goes down. He fought hard, but Virtus.PRO fought harder. In the end, pulling themselves together after the game got a little too close for comfort towards the end of that. We're back very even, Ollie.
Even Stevens, as I like to say. So 3-all at the moment between Na'Vi and Virtus.PRO. And this game is living up to the beep word I didn't like to use.
What is the word?
Hype. Very bad
You
word.
really
in my
do
opinion.
hate it, don't you?
I don't like it. It should be removed from the dictionary. But it's an incredible one, and I think Na'Vi were just left with no options there. They had to drive through the middle of the field to get the reset. They knew that Inspire was going to come from behind and be able to get at least one, and they wanted to use that Inspire and that T-54 to do the real damage. But Kusok did such a great job just causing the 5100 in the middle. He finished all the tanks which Na'Vi didn't have pushing into the cap off. So that gave them a nice little edge in terms of guns in the game. And then it was just about outmaneuvering, and Virtus.PRO had the game in the bag. Inspire tried his best, did a good job. I don't think you can really fault his individual performance, even though, to be honest, you don't really want to be the last man alive with a 100% T-54 tier 8 tank in a situation like that. It does kind of say that, okay, yes, he did get behind them, but did it take a little bit too long to get there?
As you say, it's a constant thing we bring up, is when someone is left on that full HP, they've literally been negated from the battle the entire way through. No damage dealt, really, not much anywhere across the board. So something to keep in mind, keep your eyes on it. These guys aren't flawless. They are occasionally human, I would say. Not all the time, it's mostly machine, but every now and then you may see a little bit of a human side come through. But it is 3-3, so it's all even. But now Na'Vi are on arguably the easier side. I don't know if we can even put it that way, really, but statistically, it tells us it is. But between these two, as you said, it almost negates that.
It just depends what Na'Vi does in terms of their practice and what they have in the bag. I mean, again, it's not one of those kind of matches in a single elimination bracket that you can not try a completely new tactic in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Na'Vi do something we've never seen them do before. Again, I'm going to be looking towards Angel Killer to see if he can execute that properly, or if he will be given a kind of backseat role, which might kind of be a big problem for them as well. So those kind of things you definitely want to be keeping in mind. As Na'Vi, they have the pressure on. Yes, the attacking side, slightly easier, but you could see those games were very close. And, well, Virtus.PRO, I have to say they're a better defensive team all around than they are on the attack.
Here we go. You can see those little high fives going down the line. Something that seems to be every single team likes to do that these days, apparently. But hey, if it gets them pumped up in the right mindset, that's all you want to see. So, once again, we ask the question, can anyone break ahead? 3-3. Every time you feel one team's just, they've done enough, they finally got there, the other team responds. It's back and forth all the way, tit for tat, you may say. And these boys look so focused. And as you said, Karit talking things through, looking a little bit calmer now, a little bit like he's focused. He knows what they have to do now. Na'Vi on the favorable side, bringing it out. It's 3-3, ladies and gents. It's all tied or even. Who can break it ahead? Virtus.PRO now looking to lock this one down, and it's all down to Na'Vi on the attack.
Double IS3, double 51, or double T54, T37 for Virtus.PRO, so nothing unusual. Good amount of versatility from those T54s. Brute force from the IS3s, damage from the 5100s. It's kind of getting the best of all the worlds. Na'Vi, a little bit interesting. They've gone for the double 5100, but we've seen it plenty of times before. The Anatolish, though, in an AMX 3090, I kind of prefer him in those kind of slower tanks, but of course he does perform regardless of what tank he's put in.
You're going to see a little skirmish between Karit and Angel Killer. Karit's the veteran, Angel Killer a little newer to this one, and Karit's looking like he wants to punish that. The veteran here chasing him around, landing shell. Not going to hit that one though. Angel Killer finally gets a bit back, but this should be Karit's doing the damage, and it should be the early advantage, I guess, to Virtus.PRO. There we go. Karit does get him down. Nice little bit of work, but look what's happened in the meantime.
A little bit of a
Plays begun.
struggle for Crease. You can see he's not the best tier 6 player in the world, not the best individual player in the world, but Na'Vi are going for a little bit of a push against Kusok.
Let's see what they can do. Can they find him? Can they fold quickly enough? Can they take him down? We saw this last time. 230-90s fighting off against an I3, but it was breakneck last time. And Coca-Cola, but look at Kusok goes down. Inspire comes into play, but the Anatolish maybe overstretched a touch. I believe he maybe tracked there. No, he just about made it away, but no,
Kusok's Harley. Kusok went forwards. He just blocked him, and the Anatolish couldn't get out of there. Kusok knew he would die. He just had to take down Anatolish.
Perfect. 13 seconds it was on the cap. 12 now. It's starting to heat up here from the south. You can see the tanks coming in. Just Cause resets need to be made. And look at the timer. It's going to get so darn close here.
Just Cause is not buckling under pressure. He knows that he has time to get the reset. He knows where the tanks are. He just needs to get to the spot.
Let's see what he can do. Going to go in aggressive for this one. 4 seconds on the cap. This could be Na'Vi just brute forcing it through. And they go through. Just Cause is there. Did he get it in time? I don't think he got it in time. It doesn't matter. Na'Vi right under the noses of Virtus.PRO.
Classic Na'Vi style. They know when they're down, they could just go for that cap. Just Cause thought they were on the right, they were on the left. And the MX 3090 came charging in. Just Cause went for the shot, the wrong shot, and didn't realize that MX 3090 had like 1 or 2 cap points. A great individual play for Na'Vi. That's like the one decision that gave them the win. If Just Cause, yes, he would have died, but if he had gone for another tank, it would have been Virtus.PRO's game.
Unbelievably close again, but beautiful stuff. And Na'Vi just literally doing it under Virtus.PRO's nose. That's unreal. I can't wait to watch that one back, but still. 4-3 now. That's nearing match point. Na'Vi need one more round. Otherwise, we're going to the decider map. This round coming up is massive for both these teams. What do they do? What do they bring through here? Because I think we're just seeing the teams just making sure everything's right, making sure everything's correct, because there's one more round, and this round means more than all the others. It's the deciding one almost to where this goes. Can Virtus.PRO stay in the runnings towards those finals?
Virtus.PRO knew when they're going to Ruinberg that even with special tactics, even with a lot of training, that Na'Vi just has the real feeling of the map. I mean, everyone knows when they're playing team battles or clan wars or whatever you like to play, random battles, that you have your favorite maps. It's where you feel comfortable on. And it's World Tanks is really a game about being comfortable on every single map. When you're comfortable on every single map, you can perform at a base level without really trying. And that's what Na'Vi has over Virtus.PRO. So right now, Virtus.PRO is trying new things. They're just doing the best they can to stay in the runnings on Ruinberg, hoping that they can go into Prokhorovka, where they can actually do a pretty good game. They're pretty damn good on Prokhorovka. They were actually the best team. I mean, let's be honest, we were talking about Virtus.PRO winning 14 rounds in a row on Prokhorovka in Season 3. So if that's a map they feel comfortable on, even with all the changes, that's the one.
Can they make it that far? One more round. It's what they need. If Virtus.PRO get this round, they have a chance. And that's all it is, a chance. A very slim one. Na'Vi still in their way here. 4-3 is the scoreline. And bearing in mind, ladies and gents, this is only the quarterfinals. God only knows what we can get beyond this, but we are live into this one. It's 4-3. Will Na'Vi take it right now, or will Virtus.PRO have the guts to take it further? Once again, Na'Vi on the attack, Virtus.PRO on the defense. What are we seeing?
Well, Na'Vi's definitely going for the overmatch. They're going for that east side cap, kind of thinking, well, Virtus.PRO need to commit something to the A-line to stop a northern cap. So if we can go 7 versus 6, then we might just be able to win it. Bishop and Crete's actually going towards the right side. Now, it really does depend how much Na'Vi commits and if they can actually find Bishop in that T54 as he does head through.
Well, Angel Killer might be the one to spot him out first. Everyone getting lit up there. Krilloid, left shot, and strike. Oh, 2 shells dealt with. Angel Killer down. Karit does take 1. Takes a little bit of damage here, but the Anatolish and Inspire getting fairly close for very little damage received back, and this could be a disaster. You can see Karitsa trying to do what he can, but he's just looking on as the rest of his team are being folded in on Bishop here, surrounded on both fronts. The Anatolish will deliver the shell, and this is looking like a disaster already.
That was a little bit of a bad play from Bishop. I think the rest of his team, if they'd hit more shells against Inspire and the Anatolish, and they might be able to take at least one of them down, but they didn't even do that much damage. They got the couple of wrecks of Angel Killer and Bishop. They can stay behind them, they can get the bush as well, stay unspotted. So Na'Vi do have the advantage right now.
just, you'd say positionally, for sure. Nice shot comes in. Look at the HP, how close it is overall. These two still within reach of each other. Straight takes one, and this is this long-range battle. The slight, hits here and there, these counter plays that will begin, these counter thoughts and how they're going to adapt. Inspire already heading off, joining that 5100 possibly, or heading himself down through the city if he fancies it maybe, but it's the standoff here. No one wants to make that big move. No one wants to make that play just yet. They want to gather as much as they can, but look at this. They're already adjusting around each other. This could be massive.
I think Virtus.PRO want to get most of their damage towards the left side because they can focus down the T-54 and the IS-3 in a 2 versus 2 situation. And as long as Leshar striking Kiriloid can keep Breknik, Povel and Coca-Cola busy, Just Cause and Kuzok should fall.
Let's find out if they do. Just Cause did get one shell here. He's down pretty damn low as well. Kuzok almost like big brother. Oh, Inspire with us. Just an inspiring shot there. Taking him down and slowly grinding away Virtus.PRO. And one by one, it looks like Na'Vi know what they want and they're in the positions to get it. Kuzok, he's got players left, right, and center. He can barely focus on his own game right now as Leshar strikes start chipping away at Breakneck, looking for these shots. And shell by shell, they're getting closer to those semi-finals. They're so close right now. Slides taken down Kuzok. It's 3 left. Coca-Cola, Povel, and Breakneck stand in their path to their throne. Povel now, one man surely who could do some damage, but it's not going to be enough here. One man against so many, against 5 of Na'Vi. And here we go. He makes his play, he makes his move, but he knows he's going to struggle. He's doing what he can. He's taken down one, but it's over. And Na'Vi are going through to the semi-finals.
Fantastic all-round play, fantastic individual performances for Na'Vi and Virtus.PRO. They beat themselves in that game. Na'Vi, the better team on Ruinberg, and held on steps despite some fantastic Virtus.PRO tactics and coordination. Just wasn't enough. The rivals to Na'Vi have been bested once again.
What a game, though. What an absolutely phenomenal game between these two. No bad blood there between them either. Good friends from start to finish. Rivals in game, friends off. And these two will walk away pleased with this performance, both showing some insane strength over those maps. However, I think we all know when Ruinberg showed up, when that was the second, it was never going to be an easy game for Virtus.PRO. They would have had to have made that impression just maybe a second earlier on that first map. However, not to be the case. They struggled a little there on that second one, and sadly in that final round they almost looked like they already lost.
You know, it was a game about compromise for Virtus.PRO, and you can't compromise at this level. They knew that if they went for Himmelsdorf, it would have been more of a one-sided match for Na'Vi. They're better on Himmelsdorf, so they had to go for Ruinberg, where they could have a possibility to beat them on. It didn't work out for them. It was a good gamble to make. It was a necessary gamble to make, but this time it didn't pay off.
Well, we all know now that Na'Vi are through to the semi-finals. I think this tournament is shaping up to be something phenomenal. But before we start looking too far ahead, I think we should head down to the stage with our post-match interview.
Thank you, Deluxe. Fantastic win for Na'Vi. As the defending champions, there's always a lot of pressure on you guys, but playing Virtus.PRO in the quarterfinals as well, that was a tough draw.
It was very tough. Last year we played with Virtus.PRO in the Grand Final. Now in quarterfinal, it's very hard. Always very hard to play with Virtus.PRO, against Virtus.PRO.
How nervous are you watching them play? And it's 1-1, it's 2-2, it's 3-3. How nervous is it for you?
I saw it from my chair, not from computer. It's very hard, but I believe in my team, and I think we should defend our title and take it home.
Take it home again for a second year. There's still a lot of teams left in, obviously. There's still a lot of teams that can play against you guys, but do you feel, having beaten Virtus.PRO, maybe you've beaten the toughest opponent?
Excuse me?
Maybe already beating Virtus means you've beaten maybe the best team against you?
I don't understand.
Okay, so Virtus being a very good team,
yes.
Is there any other teams that are better, do you think?
The second team?
Yeah, better teams now for the semi-final or the final.
No, I think it will be the strongest. I don't care which team it will be.
You guys, you're still very confident. Is there any?
I really don't know which team will be in the next round.
Lauren Pansy, one of our commentators, she says that you guys are all robots. Are you robots or are you human?
Excuse me?
Are you robots or human?
I'm human.
You're human?
Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll believe Deluxe, really. Congratulations to Na'Vi. They are through to the semi-finals for the second consecutive year as they attempt to defend their title. Let's break things down with Josh and the gang at the analysis desk.
Thank you, Paul. I think that answer is under review, folks, if Na'Vi are human or robots. I'm pretty sure they're human. Thank you, Deluxe, for that interview. And a little bit of insight coming from them. Virtus.PRO was the toughest team last year for them to beat. Are they the toughest team for them to beat? Is kind of the question right now. And who else is still left alive in the bracket? We can give you a quick update on one of the matches that happened. Hellraisers barely defeated Yato in a tiebreaker 5-4, and we still have EL Gaming in the mix. And so these teams have never reached the Grand Finals from last year, and now they are upsetting some of these teams that were here last year, and it's a really, really exciting storyline to see.
Well, yeah, looking at it last year, it was all predicted scores, and now we're seeing lots of different results. Like, I never expected EL Gaming to win versus Santa Claus 6. I never expected Yato to take 4 rounds against Hellraisers and bring it to a tiebreaker. It just shows how the new format is improving teams from different regions, and I'm expecting next year they're going to be even stronger than they were this year.
Well, our audience is definitely having a lot of fun as we see on Twitter, but what were the end results when it came to voting for that last match?
Okay, the end results were 58% for Na'Vi and 42% for Virtus.PRO.
Wow.
Because certainly it was 60-40 at the beginning, but now we see that, yeah, people just, Virtus.PRO just showed themselves and people believed in them. So, yeah, I actually cheered for them. Sorry, Na'Vi. I know you're strong.
It's okay. Virtus.PRO is a worthy team to cheer for, and we wish them the best of luck in next season. Jordy, one of the things that we were talking about before this matchup was the lateness of Virtus.PRO, and that was very apparent in battle number 1, but they still took battle number 1. What happened that allowed them to get that win?
Well, I think Na'Vi took the wrong positions, and Pavel stayed alive way too long. I mean, Na'Vi was peeking over a hill with T-54s against Vipro, who were down below, just shooting them as they tried to peek up. I think, but even Vipro, if they reacted in the first 30 seconds when Lefsha was in the cap, they would have won that game on that very second. And that's where you saw that lateness that we were talking about. But I think Na'Vi, when they saw those things, they were surprised. They had no clue. They actually thought they were on the other side. So when they got spotted, they overreacted and they took a wrong engagement where Virtus just came out ahead.
And moving on into battle number 2, Na'Vi with great flag pressure. This is kind of a constant theme of a lot of teams sticking into the mix, sticking into the close range battles. Flag pressure obviously being an option, but are teams utilizing the flags as much as they should?
I don't think teams are utilizing the flags as much as they should, and I think it's because we're still so early in the meta of 754. We still have all these 742 strategies that they work to an extent. We want to bring teams into ourselves. In the future, I think we're going to see flag pressure be almost the primary strat that we see teams run on offense. It turns your offensive team into the defensive team, and when you're playing defense, you do have an advantage.
All right, Mojo, you want to go ahead and show us a replay, please, from battle number 3?
We have an exceptional show of skill here, and we just need a camera on this. This is a moment that decided third battle after the failed mountaineering push of Na'Vi, where Just Cause literally survived here and won them the equal game. This is a moment when they managed to stay in a game and a match. What I want to say about these teams, they always reminded me like on all too experienced tango players, that they're sensing the moves of one another, they're reacting always. You could always see one team moves here, other reacts. You take some damage here, you take some damage there. There is nothing 100% decisive until the end.
This is a beautiful matchup because of the two playing styles that are so similar. And you can see how Na'Vi is calling Vipro's bluff, Vipro's calling Na'Vi's bluff, and how they are reacting to each other. Like they're going around in circles around the map, constantly reacting to what the other team's doing. And that's why I think it was also such a close match. Because the teams play the same. They have the same sort of playing style, they have the same tactics. You could see it on Rurenberg. They were doing the same exact things as each other.
And they were starting to block each other, and they would predict, okay, this didn't work last time, but if I change slightly if I move to the next building over? If I get behind the tank that just went forward, I can get behind him.
I think they were avoiding direct clash because it's still RNG's hazard.
Yes.
Because it can go both ways. They're too skilled. So they were always relying on some trickery to get this little of edge to win the game. And every time like that.
That one moment when Just Cause moved behind the enemy tank while he was still reloading.
And decided the battle.
Yeah.
1 second.
It was awesome. But it's those 1 seconds that really make a difference to that individual play. I know Ola was going crazy during that matchup.
That's
for
right.
Sure. Towards the end, though, after the blocking the tanks, and then after Navi getting better map control, that last stand by Virtus.PRO, it seemed they could not get the shots against Navi. They could not get the HP advantage against Navi. Why was that? Was Navi landing those shots from further away? Were they using the corners and the buildings on Ruinberg better than Virtus.PRO? Was Virtus.PRO taking too long to get set up?
I think VPRO missed a lot of shots because Bishop was in the south and there were two 3090s coming for him, but they were not hiding behind anybody. And they both went down to half HP and Bishop died, but also Coca-Cola was dropped to 200 hit points. VPRO should have landed, they should have killed at least one of those 3090s if they wanted to get away with that tactic, which they didn't. So it was down to Navi hitting way more in that last game than VPRO.
Well, those hits definitely made a difference. And then from Elevate, and those shots have to land, they have to stick. What does a team do when you're not landing your shots? How do you deal with that pressure?
Oh, that's a great question. If we had a better answer to that, we might have done a little better yesterday. I think you just really have to sit down and recollect yourself because it's going to happen. There's no team that's never going to have a flawless tournament. The teams that can sit down and say, you know what, we are missing, let's just take a timeout. Let's look at ourselves and realize that we're the best teams in the world. We can do this. If you can do that, you can be a champion.
Yeah. Mojo, wrapping up this match, you've mentioned RNGesus a number of times here.
Yes.
How do you overcome that type of sense of, man, I can't, how do I still maintain control on the battlefield when this is a factor in the game?
You play your tactics and you hope for the best, and there is no other way. You just keep on going. If you miss, you cannot go. And thinking about that, you focus on the next one.
Okay. Ola, I know we got some more prizes to give out for our audience. What else do we have?
Yes, that's right. So Gigabyte contest is on at wgl.gg/gigabyte. So you need to answer a question and get a chance to win one of the Gigabyte motherboards plus 100 bonus codes. Also, you can take part in Razer Challenge at wgl.gg/Razer and then log in with your Razer Comms ID and vote for your team and get a chance to win one of 3 mouse plus mouse pads sets branded World of Tanks. And also the next team vote is up already at our Facebook page, which is WGL EU. So please go for it, and we'll see.
All right, and we're going to get ready for our next matchup. We are now in the semifinals. Only 3 matches remain. Semifinal 1, semifinal 2, and then the finals, and then we'll crown a champion. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, semifinal 1. Stay tuned.